Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dear Dream Diary with your host, Ashley. This is episode 15, and the title of today's episode is Stolen Gemstone. Now, before we get into today's dream, I want to talk a little bit about a few different things here because it is all related. Now, when we talk about dreams, we get that information from our subconscious mind. Now, going to the mind. So we have our unconscious, subconscious, conscious, and superconscious, or AKA collective conscious. Now, our unconscious mind is very, very deep down there. Like, we would never be able to, like, in our conscious mind, like, think of it as polar opposites. So we have our conscious mind and our unconscious mind. And then somewhere in between the two is our subconscious mind. Now, our unconscious mind can connect to our subconscious mind. And then our subconscious mind can send information to our conscious mind, either through daydreaming, premonitions, dreaming at night in your REM sleep. I mean, you dream during other sleep cycles too, but your REM sleep is the most vivid dreams during your sleep. And then the collective conscious is where externally we are all connected together and we all receive information about other people. Now, for example, so receiving information about other people. Let's say you had a dream about someone and then they showed up the next day. That is like the collective conscious because that person somehow notified you that they were coming, and then you received that information via your subconscious mind in your dreams, and then the next day they were there. So this all leads back to the source or God or the divine, whatever you guys refer to that as. I refer to it as the source. Now, again, you have your unconscious, subconscious, conscious, collective conscious that all goes back to the source. I drew a picture of this when I learned this information just because I'm a visual person. I like to kind of see things visually in order to understand it. I'll post that picture too. Maybe you guys will get a better understanding with my picture, although somebody had said it looked a little inappropriate, but that's fine. You guys can look at it. It's meant to be my making sense of this information that I read about. I laughed when that person said that to me, and I'm like, now I can't unsee it. Thanks a lot. But yeah, so then also going from all of that information to, I want to talk about body, mind, and spirit, or also known as the soul or soul. I read Conversations with God, and he talks about body, mind, and spirit. Now, the body is obviously the vessel that you're in, and the mind is the self or the individuation, and the spirit is, in my opinion, part of the soul or the source. So the source is like a huge, like it's the one. Like there's one soul, and all of us, we each have a part of that soul. Now, again, in my opinion, what I think is happening is in our vessel, we have our mind or the individuation that allows us to experience our life individually and separate from other people. And we are all experiencing everything we're going through as gaining knowledge or information or experience, like I said, for the one, the source. And then when we depart our vessel and go back into spirit form, we're directly connecting back to the source and giving that information back and kind of like cataloging. I think that's how you say that word. I don't know. Cataloging it for the source. Now, I know obviously there's so many different theories on this. Like, for one example, the theory is there's no past and there's no future. Everything's happening now and all at once, which would then mean like the source and the soul and God knows everything and knows every experience all at once. So then why the heck do we need to do what we're doing? But if you go with that theory, then, so if there's no past, there's no future, everything's happening now and all at once, if we weren't experiencing and going through life now, in the now, then there just would be no existence at all. So that was my take on that. I will be doing more in-depth research on soul versus psyche and individuation. This is just little bits of information that I've gathered from the books that I've read. And it's all so fascinating. And it is all like, it's also directly linked to dreaming, because in our dreams, we have our subconscious mind and our unconscious mind, and the information filters through to our conscious mind, because when we wake up, we're conscious and we're remembering little bits and pieces of information from our dreams. Now, if you guys don't write your dreams down right away, it is hard to recall the dreams. Some of my dreams I do remember even without writing them down. Even ones from years and years ago, I remember without writing them down. For example, I don't know if I talked about the one I had with my mom. It was a reoccurring dream where she was a vampire and I was trying to find her, but she couldn't be near me because she's a vampire and I'm human. Like, I remember that from years and years ago. And then there's another one with my dad that I remember. It's all crazy. Everything is linked together, and I'm very, very surprised how many things are actually linked together. I will go again more in depth with the soul versus psyche. I'm starting to read, I've read a couple things from Sigmund Freud. I'm kind of veering off to Carl Jung because a lot of his theories and analogies I'm taking to a little bit more. But again, it's all information that I want to consume, and I am consuming more dream-focused information. I kind of veered off and went a little spiritual for a little bit, but again, it's all linked together. I will also do some more research on the scientific aspects of dreaming, which I have talked about it, like the dream cycles, dream patterns, sleep cycles and sleep patterns, and brain waves that you give off when you're sleeping versus when you're awake, and during each cycle. I have talked about that. I'll do a refresh episode on that, as well as I'll, add more information every time I go back and research something again, just to refresh myself. I always learn something new, and I love doing that too. I love getting more information the second time I read something. It's crazy how the mind works. But that is kind of everything I wanted to touch base first before I get into the dream. So I'm going to get into the dream, which I have pulled 4 dream cards. I've never pulled 4 dream cards, which is crazy. I'm not going to read the whole meaning of the dream card. I'm just going to read what I took from it, which, I do reread the dreams before the episode just so that I can pull the dream card. The oracle cards I actually do live so that you guys can experience that with me and see how the universe works and gives messages directly to you. If you ask for them, you will receive messages. Sometimes you have to open your mind a little bit more in order to receive messages. They could be the smallest message, and you just have to open your mind in order to receive it. Anyways, I'm rambling. Here's the dream. Let's get into that. So, Dear Dream Diary. In this dream, there was a group of people, including myself, family, and friends, that were connected to a gemstone that gave us godlike powers, and people looked up to us. Someone had stolen this gemstone, which took our powers, so we sent our guards to find the gemstone. They were unable to find the gemstone, so we retreated to our safe space, which was a huge boat built into mountains in the sky. The people who stole the gemstone came to invade the safe space. We were all trying to close and lock the windows and doors, but they found a weak spot and got in. End here. Now, I'm finding that some of these older dreams, I'm not writing every single detail. I'm starting to write every single detail that I remember, because one thing I didn't write was there was a monkey inside the boat with us, kind of going frantic, which that that could mean something. So I'm in my dreams I've been writing down recently. I do write every single detail that I remember so I don't miss a thing. Now, another thing, I'm going to try and give you guys a visual. So this boat was more like Pirates of the Caribbean boat, like a big, huge ship, wooden, I don't even know what you really call it, a ship, I guess. And it was old and wooden, and it was kind of embedded into this mountain-like thing that was kind of floating in the sky. Now, to give you a visual of that, if you've seen Avatar, the one scene where they have like the floating mountains in the sky is kind of like that. I think that's Avatar. Or am I thinking of a different movie? No, I think it's Avatar. Anyways, so it was like that. And again, this big, huge ship, wooden boat thing was embedded in the mountain, and the land was kind of overgrown over it. And I could see like the back part of the ship where there's like windows and stuff and you're inside of it. That was facing out, so you could see like land and the sky and everything from that part, and even along the one side where there's windows on the side. And we kind of like customized this, like we made the windows bigger, not like the little ship circle windows. We made them bigger so that we could open them. Now, we were trying to close and lock all of those so that they couldn't get in. And eventually they ended up getting in and then going to the gemstone. The gemstone was green. I remember it being green. I didn't write that down, but I do remember it being green. And it kind of, like when I was rereading it, it kind of reminded me of the movie Moana, where they had to return the heart of the mountain. I can't remember the name of the mountain, but anyways, they had to return the heart back to the mountain so that all the crazy stuff wasn't happening. So I haven't seen that movie in a very long time, but it reminded me of that. Now, the cards that I pulled, the first one was landscapes and places, which I just want to read the one part about this. So the setting in your dream is a vivid clue to what's going on inside you. Familiar settings such as home and work are relatively easy to interpret because they explore work-home feelings. If you are struggling in real life with inner conflict, the landscape will be very different to your familiar environment. And then kind of going through to the bottom, if you are in unfamiliar territory and feel lost, this indicates that you are feeling out of your depth in a new situation. Mountains are obstacles to climb, and country fields are telling you to get back into... Okay, so that one doesn't really... That's irrelevant. So, again, mountains are obstacles to climb if you're in unfamiliar territory and feel lost. I didn't feel lost, but I was in unfamiliar territory. This indicates that you are feeling out of depth in a new situation. Now, I don't necessarily, like, nothing new. This dream, I can't remember when I had this, at least a couple months ago. I don't know what new situation it could be referring to. Maybe I had this dream before I went on strike. I can't remember the timeline. I really wish that I would start writing the dates down on my dreams too. I'm going to start doing that. And then at the top, back to the top, if you are struggling in real life with inner conflict, then the landscape will be very different to your familiar environment. Obviously, the spiritual journey that I've been on is to get to know my inner self much better. And I have made such a huge, a huge change, growth in the last year. I started this journey, I think about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, but the last year alone, 2024, was such a huge awakening. And I'm still learning and processing, because I go from one day like nothing can stop me, and the next day is like I'm feeling the effects of, the past and what I felt before. And it's like I'm trying to eliminate that. So anytime I have a negative thought or remember something negative from my past, I like replace it, shut it down, and say like, no, this is me now. That's not me anymore. This is who I am. I'm this amazing, huge, impactful, intelligent, beautiful, smart, kind, loving, caring, person. Like, I'm all of these things, and I need to keep telling myself that. Like, it's crazy that we focus so much on the mindset and being kind to others. And I think I talked about this on my last episode, but you have to start with yourself. Like, kindness and love begins from within, and you have to be kind to yourself. You have to love yourself in order to fully give back to everyone around you. And even starting that, I've opened my heart up to other people, even strangers, like having compassion for strangers and feeling the pain and everything that I see somebody, like a homeless person. Before, I was so judgmental. I'd be like, oh, go get a job or whatever. But now I'm like, who knows why they got there, how they got there. And for those of you who don't know, it's actually extremely hard for somebody who's homeless to go get a job. One, because you have to have a place, like an address of residence to put on your job application. Now, if you're open with some employers and say like, hey, I'm homeless, I'm trying to make a change, you might find somebody who would hire you, but not many places would, if any. So, like, just opening my heart up to those people, to understanding and placing myself in their shoes. Like, I don't know how they got there, so I'm not going to judge them for where they are today. I'm going to help them in any way I can, which share kindness, or I've given somebody a blanket that I had sitting in my car that I wasn't using. Like, here's the blanket. Like, we all need to stop judgment. And I know that judgment has become like, it's a human thing, which is our going back to the body, mind, and soul. I think that's the individuation of us, where we've, like, the human aspect, where we've implemented that in our human DNA, that, to judge others. But spare the judgment. Think about how it is that they got there and give them kindness instead of rudeness and telling them to go get a job or whatever judgment it is that you pass on to others. Now, going to continue on. The next card that I pulled was animals, because I did have the monkey in my dream. So animals represent your instinctive nature, your personality, and habits. Usually a domestic animal symbolizes the familiar and predictable habits you have, and so indicates that you are feeling content in your waking life. Now, this was a wild one, and he was actually, the monkey was going kind of crazy in the dream. Now, it says wild animals, however, represent an uncontrollable force, the wild and unpredictable parts of yourself. Now, what I take from that is the fact that I've been opening myself up and getting to know myself and allowing parts of me out that I never did before. And when you don't focus on yourself, you close doors to parts of you. And when you start focusing on yourself, you open those doors. I don't know how many doors I've opened in the last, I have chills right now. I don't know how many doors I've opened in the last 2 years, but many, many doors I have opened. And it's just crazy and overwhelming, but like a good overwhelming feeling to allow myself to fully be me. And I'm still opening doors, guys. So get ready, because I have many doors to open, and I've been hiding in my trauma and whatever past that has been holding me back. I've been hiding and using that as an excuse for many things in my life. And I know that, I don't know if I've actually said this out loud, but today that stops. I will no longer allow my trauma to be an excuse for the person I can't even say I am, because I'm not the same person anymore. So my trauma is no longer an excuse or a weight or an anchor holding me back, because it's gone. I'm letting it go. It's released from me, and I am going to be who I was meant to be. And then, okay, so continuing with this card, I'm just seeing if there was something else. I can't remember if I had anything else from it. No, nothing from that. So the next card I pulled was people, because there's always people in my dreams, which the people in your dreams are archetypal characters I can never say those two words together. I don't even think I can say the one by itself. But they're characters that we've created in our dreamland because they represent parts of ourselves or types of people we encounter in our lives. And then they also symbolize qualities within yourself or those you associate, which that's basically what this card says. So they're universal because they represent types of people we all encounter in our lives. In dreams, they symbolize the qualities within yourself or those you associate with others. And then, so I just had a brain fart there because I was trying to continue reading to see if I wanted to share, but I'm going to actually. So common authority figures present themselves as king, judge, priest, teacher, boss, parent, or an older person from whom you take advice. Quite often they can be rolled into a single figure of an old wise man or woman. Watch your reaction in your dream to this character, as that will give you a clue about what your attitude is to authority in real life. Okay. So strangers represent parts of yourself that you haven't explored yet or are afraid to explore. If you're a tourist, you are seeing things with a new, fresh outlook. Okay. I can't say I never, but most of my dreams, I have a group of people. Very rarely is it one direct person that I'm dealing with. I know there's one dream I had recently where it was more focused on one person, but there's usually like a group of people. Now, in this dream, I never actually seen the group of people that had stolen this gemstone. I just knew that the gemstone was missing. And then I had sent my guards to go and find the gemstone. And then I had my close friends and family that were part of this group that had the abilities from the gemstone, and then the gemstone was stolen. So we weren't protected, we were unprotected. And then when we couldn't find the gemstone, we retreated back to our safe space. So the reason why I pulled the people card is just to kind of talk about the characters in our dreams. Now, I'm kind of getting a little bit of information. I want to read the last card before I go over what I think this dream means, which the last card is chased. And again, in a lot of my dreams, I am being chased. Sometimes, or actually, I'm trying to think back. I want to reread all my dreams, but I don't know if I ever see the people chasing me. I'm never actually looking back and see somebody directly behind me chasing me. It's always the feeling or knowing that I'm being chased, which is very interesting because for me, what that would mean is that it's aspects of myself chasing other aspects of myself, which would kind of make sense. The fact that I'm letting go of the past and the past me and who I was before, and opening doors to who I am and who I'm meant to be. So that's kind of what I meant there. But now, again, being chased is anxiety, dreams, reflecting. I'm just going to read here. Insecurities and the fears you experience in waking life. The dreamer tries to outrun a wild animal, a dark figure, or a gang of thugs, a monster, or another pursuer who means harm. Some issues are making you feel under pressure and you feel have no control other than to run away or outrun and avoid them. You may feel guilty about getting caught for something you have done. Let me see. So chase dreams have been regular visitors since childhood, and until you confront these fears at a conscious level, they will keep coming back and turn into reoccurring dreams. Ask yourself who is chasing you and what they represent to you in your life. It may be your natural instincts, wild animal, or emotions, monster or faceless person. Interesting. Monster or faceless person. Yeah, but I never actually see the person. Or parts of yourself you don't want to acknowledge, monster or shadow. The attacker can also represent parts of yourself. It is therefore an internal struggle, which is basically what I just said. Now, to kind of go over what I think this dream means for me is, one, I'm being chased. I don't see the figure or people chasing me. I just know and feel that I'm being chased. I think that this dream represents, like the gemstone too, is a part of me in my past that was, I don't necessarily, you know what? Actually, I wouldn't say that it's a part of my past. I would say that the gemstone represents me in like the future me, or who I'm supposed to be. And that was stolen. And I sent my guards to go get it, but they couldn't find it. And then we retreated to the safe space. So I feel like the gemstone is who I am and who I'm supposed to be. And that was stolen. And I couldn't find it, or the parts of myself in the dream couldn't find it. So I retreated to a safe space, and I held in that safe space where I felt safe. And I stopped looking. I stopped looking for who I am and who I'm supposed to be. Oh my God, guys, this is resonating so much with me. I've never actually felt this emotional on dream interpretation, but anyway, so I held in my safe space and stayed there for a very long time. And then the people chasing me, which maybe isn't, I'm not really sure what I said before about this dream specifically, but the people chasing me in this dream, I actually think is parts of myself trying to open those. And it's interesting because they were trying to open doors and windows. It's crazy how when you read something, it doesn't make sense, and then you actually make sense of it and you come to realization. But anyways, so the people chasing me are parts of myself that need to be let out, and they're opening doors and windows to try and get in. That is so interesting. I have chills and goosebumps. Whew. Very interesting. I'm just so astounded every time I read a freaking dream and interpret it and what it means to me. And with all this information I'm learning about different dreams and the dream cards I have, which I love, by the way, I'll post them again if you guys want to buy them for yourself. They're very, very, very amazing dream cards and oracle cards, which getting to the oracle card, I'm going to do that. Like I said, I do it live every episode. And when I do them, again, I'm just asking what this dream means for me. So I'm going to shuffle. I'm going to allow you guys to hear me shuffling so you don't think that this was like premeditated, because it's not. And usually one kind of jumps out, or I get the feeling that like, hey, stop here. And, oh, that one. Gratitude. So gratitude, which is very interesting that I pulled this card, because I've been focusing more on gratitude. The one book, The Secret and the Magic, that I read, it says the secret of life is gratitude. Now it says focus on the things you do have rather than the things you don't or can't have. Gratitude is another form of prayer. Practice daily. Appreciate everything and everyone in your life. Which, before I read what the actual card means, intuitively, I'm kind of getting to like, not only be thankful for the things that I do have, but be thankful for myself and appreciate who I am and these doors that I'm opening. Now, I'm going to read the card, which is card number 42. Let me find that. So, gratitude. Wear gratitude like a cloak, and it will feed every corner of your life. It is in gratitude that you truly appreciate your blessings. Take nothing for granted. Give thanks for everything that the universe has to offer. Does not the rich person breathe the same air as the poor person? Was I not just talking about save the judgment and be kind? Okay. Thank you, universe, for the synchronicities. I'm going to continue reading. Do they not feel the warmth of the sun and the soft breeze on their cheeks equally? Material wealth does not guarantee happiness and well-being. Do not dwell on what you lack. Be grateful for all that you do have. It will encourage prosperity to enter your life if you are in an abundant state of mind already. Whatever negative feeling you are experiencing right now is creating a block, which means that positive energy cannot get through. I also was talking about releasing negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions and replacing them with positive ones. I talked about that on my last episode, and I just briefly mentioned it here too. Gonna continue reading, guys. All the synchronicities. I love it. So be patient. It will pass if you choose to focus on the positive things in your life. Remember to be grateful for simply being alive. Thank the bed for a good night's sleep. Thank God for seeing a new day. Thank your bills too, because they are a result of services you have been granted. Whenever you turn on a light, plug in an appliance, open a tap for clean water, and enjoy countless other comforts you have at your disposal, appreciate each and every one of them. There is much in your life to be grateful for. Appreciate every person who comes into your life, even those who annoy you, because they are here to teach you lessons. Be grateful that your body can take you where you want to go, rather than put yourself down for being too fat or unattractive. Go one day without any form of complaining. Affirm only that which is positive. There are many blessings in your life. Give thanks daily. So not only are there synchronicities in this card with things I talked about on my last episode, things I talked about on this episode, but also it's the universe reminding me to continue this gratitude path, because I have been on this gratitude path, and some days I'm 100% gratitude and positive, and then other days I kind of let exterior things that are affecting my life right now, like those negative thoughts, start to come in, but I'm trying to replace them. And I think this is the universe saying, stay on this path and everything will be okay. And I know and I feel that this year is, by the end of this year, there's going to be such a drastic change for me, like a positive drastic change. And I know that things are going to be okay. And what I mean by that is, one, financially, because, the things that I have going on financially are impacting the time that I'm spending with my children. And one of the things I would love to do, and I want to do, and I am going to do, and I know that it's going to happen, is spend more time with my children. By the end of this year, I'll be in a position to spend more time with my children and focus on them, and then give them part of me and more of me that I know that they need and want, and that's going to happen. Now, I think that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to wrap up today's episode with that. I have so much more information and learning to share with you guys. I know last episode I talked about having guests on my episode. I have 2 guests coming on my... Oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. I have 2 guests coming on one of my future episodes. It is going to be coming soon, within the next couple weeks, so stay tuned, guys. There's going to be so much to talk about on that episode. The 2 people are Malcolm and Courtney, such lovely, lovely people that they've become part of my community, and I a part of their community. It's such a loving, open, kind, whole community that I've found, and I love everyone in it. Until next time, guys, though, I hope you all have gratitude for all the small things and enjoy the things that you do have, and find happiness in everything that you have and experiencing, even in hard times. I hope you guys can find happiness in the small things, and I hope you all have sweet dreams.